from the United States list of state sponsors of terrorism. This decision could mark a turning point in improving relations between the United States and Cuba. Joining me now to unpack the implications of this move is Ambassador Jeroboam Shaanika, Deputy Executive Director of Multilateral Relations at the Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation. Very good evening to you, Ambassador. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, John, and good evening to the listeners. And let me take this opportunity, since I'm coming here for the first time in the new year,
Absolutely.
to wish you a very happy, prosperous, and rewarding new year.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Ambassador.
And also to the listeners.
Definitely. Compliments for the new year to you too, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Now, the matter at hand, to start with, how Namibia has the government responded to the decision to remove Cuba from the United States terrorism list. What's your reaction to this, and where does Namibia stand with this?
Thank you very much for this opportunity to explain. Mm-hmm. But I just want to take you back that every time since our attainment of our independence, every time Namibia comes to the international platform, has always made a call that Cuba must be removed from the list of states perceived to be sponsoring terrorism, because there was none. Yeah. You see, this listing of Cuba came from during the Cold War. And the number of so-called the revolutionaries and the insurgencies, if you examine those who were perceived to be terrorists,
right,
include us Namibians who were fighting for our independence. Then, of course, they also include a number of others, and the accusation was that it was funding and training those insurgencies.
Right.
Then, of course, they were also, I think, appointed that they were sponsoring terrorists like ETA, the Basque separatists in Spain. Mm-hmm. But if you examine this matter carefully, it appears that these people from ETA came to Cuba with the concurrence of the Spanish government. Mm-hmm.
Very well. Now, can you provide some context on to why or what led Cuba to being taken off this list then?
Well, I cannot really tell what was in the mind of President Biden when he made the announcement. Mm-hmm. But of course, he realized that there was nothing to keep Cuban from the state of sponsor of terrorism.
Right.
I think realism has settled in. I would really not speculate as to what led to, but I can only tell you there is none. I've lived in Cuba for the period of 9 years, and I'm sure that that's what made him to come to that conclusion. But I also do not want to speculate as to what made his mind to arrive to that conclusion. Yeah.
Now, from your perspective, how might this decision then, shape the future of the United States and Cuba's relations? Do you believe that the closer cooperation, or rather this move, could lead to closer cooperation between the two countries?
I did hope it will, as you are saying, but let us also be realistic. Yeah. That Monday, the United States is going to change. Mm-hmm. The administrations.
That's right.
And we are not sure whether the administration that is coming to power will stick to this decision made or will revise it. We only wait and see to see what. But if you look at our statement that was made by the Ministry of International Relations, it appears that is good for the two countries to live in peace and live as good neighbors. Yeah. And I think that's really we hope for. In our policy of international relations that is guided by the Article 96, one of the main tenants there, it speaks for encouragement of settlement of international dispute by peaceful means. Right. So we hope that two countries will choose peace rather than confrontation. because, as you know, the listing of Cuba as a state sponsoring, which is alleged, because there is no evidence. Yeah. It comes with a number of ripple effect in a way that even a company that wish to do business, they are afraid because they will be subjected to those extraterritorial measures that the country concerned will impose. So it is in the best interest. It's in even the we are all speaking of advancing sustainable development goal.
Yes.
But how do you pursue the sustainable development goal if there are certain measures that are put up there? But we must also make it clear that this is only a removal from the list of state-sponsored terrorists. But the embargo is still going to continue because the embargo has not been lifted.
Very well. Now, you rightfully mentioned, and we all now know that the United States administration is, of course, going to change come Monday. What is your role, or not your role, but what's your take, rather, on the role that the Joe Biden administration has played in fostering international cooperation, to your knowledge?
Well, I can't speak on the United States is pursuing its interest. I mean, its foreign policy dictated by its interest.
Yes.
Whether it has played a positive role, I think that's one I'm not sure. But they play according to how they feel. Whether they have fostered international cooperation, I think there are historians who are going to make a judgment. For example, I can give you an example. Yeah. You know the passing of former President Jimmy Carter, who passed on, I think it was on the 29th of December. And you see how historians are judging his presidency, both during and the post-presidency. And I'm sure there will be historians who will make such a judgment. I don't think I will be qualified to make that judgment now that he is still a president and he still has some few days to go. But of course, the history is going to give him a judgment that is befitting what role he has played.
Lastly, Ambassador, what does Namibia hope to see in the incoming Trump administration, perhaps, not knowing, of course, that he, of course, ruled the country before? What are the hopes that we see in his administration, not only on the United States and Cuba diplomacy, but in general as well?
Well, I think every country's wish for international cooperation, for understanding among countries, because the nature of diplomacy is that countries and people must pursue policies that are beneficiary to them, but they must also not pursue policies that are going to make other people suffer or to relegate other people to further peripheries. I think what we hope is that we must have good relations characterized by deeds, not just by words, and that there must be tangible international cooperations. But of course, I cannot speak on behalf of the incoming administration. They have their own policies.
That's right.
And I think they have to pursue their policies. The only thing that we can hope that it must be in the interest of international cooperation. And on our part, we have bilateral relations, and we hope that those bilateral relations can be strengthened. But each country will have to pursue its interest, how it fits, but we do not wish the antagonism. But we can also defend our interests when they are being harmed.
Perhaps your brief final remarks, Ambassador?
Well, can only say this year, I think, presents the opportunity for every country in geopolitics. There are many issues that are, some of them are worrisome. We still have the conflict in the Middle East.
That's right.
We still have geopolitical wrangling and other issues that need to be addressed. Last year, we had a Summit of the Future that came up with a Pact of the Future, which we hope that us as people and countries will work toward what we have put up. Let it be a guide, a guiding light for us to pursue, whether in terms of reforms of the multilateral system, whether it is in terms of international finance that need to be reformed so that it speaks to the need of the people, whether it is in terms of artificial intelligence that we do not want a situation where artificial intelligence is overwhelming human capacity. Right. But everything must speak to the need of humanity, and we must be able to reap benefit. We hope for a better future for us and for the future generations.
Absolutely. Ambassador Shaanika, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for sharing that expanded knowledge.
Thank you very much, John, and it was my very good pleasure to be here. And next time, if the need arise, do not hesitate to invite me.
Definitely not. We do know the ministry is quite very friendly.
I will always come answer that call.
Definitely. Absolute pleasure always.
And of course, let me also thank to the listeners.
Yeah.
And once again, wish them a prosperous, rewarding new year.
Absolutely.
Hope this year we are going to have more rain.
Absolutely. No, hopefully. Definitely looking forward to that. Thank you so much once again, Ambassador.
Thank you.
You're still watching Namibia Connect on NBC. We have more conversations coming your way.